Hello! We hope you're enjoying your stay at Toshi's place.
To help you make the most of your time in Kamakura, we've prepared this sightseeing guide.
Today we'll introduce you to the Great Buddha of Kamakura at Kotoku-in Temple.
That's right. Think of us as your friendly guides for this spot. We'll share everything you need to really connect with this incredible landmark.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just, a quick photo op. It's a place just steeped in history and art, and it has this really profound sense of peace.
Absolutely. And we've gathered all the fascinating details from how it was made centuries ago to some surprising little facts you might not find on your own.
Kind of like a shortcut to really appreciating the magic of the place.
Exactly that. So let's dive in and discover what makes the Great Buddha so special.
Okay, where better to start than the very beginning? I mean, how did this magnificent statue even come to be here in Kamakura?
Well, its story takes us way back to the mid-13th century, right in the heart of the Kamakura period.
Okay, so Kamakura was the center of Japan then, ruled by the samurai government.
That's it. And it was a time of, significant change and maybe some uncertainty too.
Makes sense.
And the creation of this monumental Buddha was deeply connected to that era. It was this huge project undertaken with a really powerful purpose.
Which was?
To pray for peace. Not just for the ruling samurai government, but really for all the people living through those times. It was sort of a spiritual anchor,
Yeah.
a tangible expression of hope.
Wow, building something that massive as a prayer, that really gives you a sense of its significance right from the start.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't originally out in the open like we see it today, was it?
No, it wasn't. When it was first completed, the Great Buddha was actually housed inside this, massive temple hall.
Can you even imagine a structure big enough to contain it?
It must have been absolutely breathtaking, seeing it indoors like that.
So what happened? How did it end up sitting under the open sky?
Well, sadly, the original temple structure, it was lost. Natural disasters.
Oh, no.
Yeah, historical accounts suggest a series of typhoons, probably in the late 14th century. They basically swept the building away.
But the Buddha itself remained.
Remarkably, yes, it endured, stood tall through the storms, even after its shelter was gone.
And now, kind of ironically, being out in the elements is part of what makes it so iconic, isn't it? With the changing seasons and the sky.
It really is. It's become this powerful image, a symbol of resilience, just sitting there patiently through the centuries.
Amazing.
And the temple grounds you visit today, that's Kotoku-in Temple. It's a temple of the Jodo sect, the Pure Land sect of Buddhism. And the Great Buddha is its main object of worship.
Right, the principal figure. And I read it's also one of the 6 Amitabha temples of Kamakura.
That's right, which just highlights its long-standing religious importance in this whole area.
Okay, so we got the history born from a prayer for peace, survived the elements. Now let's talk about the wow factor. When you actually stand there.
Oh, the scale. That's the first thing that just hits you.
It really is immense, isn't it?
You're looking at a bronze statue that stands about 11.31 meters tall.
Which is roughly like a 4-story building.
Pretty much. And it weighs around 121 tons. Just, pause for a second and picture the sheer effort involved in casting something that massive way back in the 13th century.
Without modern tech.
Exactly. It's just mind-boggling craftsmanship.
It really makes you feel incredibly small.
Yeah.
In a good way. And its importance isn't just local, right? It's famous across Japan, even globally.
Absolutely. One of Japan's most famous seated Buddha statues.
Yeah.
But here's something really significant for Kamakura specifically.
What's that?
It is the only national treasure designation in the entire city.
The only one. Wow.
Yeah, that tells you just how highly it's valued as part of Japan's cultural heritage.
And when you see it, the posture is so dignified.
Yeah.
And the expression, it's just incredibly calm, serene.
It really does seem to radiate tranquility, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look closely, you'll notice some fascinating artistic details, like the downward tilted head and that slightly hunched posture.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It wasn't a mistake. That was actually a deliberate style, popular at the time. Gives the Buddha a sort of introspective feel.
Okay, that makes sense. But here's where it gets really interesting and kind of surprising.
Go on.
While the posture is typical, the facial features, experts point out these subtle details that reflect influences from, believe it or not, Western art, specifically Greek sculpture.
Greek sculpture. In a 13th century Japanese Buddha, that sounds unlikely.
I know. But apparently the details are there if you look closely. The curve of the nose, the smooth bridge, the horizontal eyes, that serene smile.
Wow. So Evidence of artistic ideas traveling huge distances, even centuries ago. That's incredible. Makes you wonder about the artisans.
It really does, like a global fusion of art right there in Kamakura. And speaking of fascinating details, we have some great little notes from Toshi in our guide material.
Ah, yes, Toshi's notes. They always add such charming insider perspectives, like this one. The slightly stooped posture. It wasn't just artistic style. Toshi notes it was designed so that when you, the visitor, stand before it, your eye level meets the Buddha's gaze more directly.
No way! That's brilliant. Like an ancient way of engaging the viewer, creating a personal connection despite the size.
Exactly. And Toshi has another fun fact. It's almost hard to believe.
Oh, yeah. Is it the weight one?
It is. Toshi's note says the statue's weight, all 121 tons, has actually been measured using scales.
Scales! How big would those scales have to be?
Right. It's just this very concrete, almost humorous reminder of its sheer physical reality.
A heavy fact indeed. Okay, so beyond the statue itself, the grounds around it also tell a story, don't they?
They do. Look for those 53 flat foundation stones surrounding the Buddha.
What are those?
They're the actual remnants of the original temple hall. Physical proof of what stood there centuries ago, marking the footprint of that grand building.
Wow, it helps you visualize the scale of what was lost.
Definitely. And exploring the rest of the grounds adds more layers. You'll see that giant pair of straw sandals near the entrance.
Oh yeah, those are hard to miss. What's the story with them?
They're called waraji. They're offerings, actually, from a children's group in another city. They symbolize prayers for safe travels and strong legs.
A perfect blessing for anyone exploring Kamakura. That's lovely.
Isn't it? And you'll also find several literary monuments dotted around.
Tributes to artists inspired by the Buddha.
Exactly. Poets, writers, people who visited over the centuries and felt moved by its presence and the tranquility here.
And then there are the Neo-Guardian statues too. They look pretty imposing.
They really do. Powerful, dynamic forms. They feel like protectors of the temple grounds. And it's good to know they were restored fairly recently, back in 2011.
So they'll continue watching over the Buddha for years to come.
Nice. And finally, don't forget just the natural beauty, depending on when you visit. Cherry blossoms in spring, maybe, or vibrant autumn leaves.
Yeah, nature really adds another layer, framing the Buddha beautifully.
So, okay, you've got the history, the incredible art and scale, the lovely setting. But here's something truly unique. A really special experience you can have only here.
Ah, this is where it gets really personal with the statue, right? You can actually go inside it.
That's the one. For a small extra fee, you can step into the Great Buddha itself. It's not something many statues allow, offers a totally different perspective.
What's it like inside? Must feel so different from standing outside looking up.
Oh, it is. The atmosphere changes instantly. It's cooler, darker, and incredibly quiet.
Wow.
And you can see the inner surface of the bronze casting up close. You see the techniques they used back in the 13th century where sections were joined, the marks from the casting.
Like stepping into a historical workshop.
Kind of. And you can also see the internal structure. They actually put in metal ribs to reinforce the statue.
Metal ribs. Inside a bronze statue from the 13th century.
Yeah. Think about it. It's like an ancient example of structural engineering, almost like modern architectural ideas about internal reinforcement. Incredible ingenuity.
It really gives you an appreciation for the sheer human effort, the skill, the foresight, seeing the structure beneath the surface.
It truly is a deep dive into the craftsmanship.
Mm.
So beyond going inside, how else can you make the most of a visit?
Well, our guide suggests timing is pretty key for the best experience. Early mornings are particularly recommended.
Okay, why is that? Just to avoid the crowds.
That's a big part of it, definitely. Fewer people enhances that sense of tranquility, but also the light, early morning light on the bronze and the gardens. It can be incredibly peaceful.
Ah, that makes perfect sense. Experiencing that stillness sounds ideal. And the open air setting means great photos too, right? Capturing it with the sky or the leaves.
Absolutely. Frame your shots with the natural elements. But, while it's great for photos, remember what we said at the start. It's much more than just the sightseeing checkbox.
It really is. It's a place to slow down a bit. Reflect on the history, the art, the faith. That simple piece the figure seems to embody.
A moment to connect with something, well, larger than yourself.
Well put. So if you're ready to experience this incredible place, how do you actually get there? Especially from Toshi's place.
Okay, access. It's actually quite straightforward. The most popular and charming way is probably the Inadin line.
The scenic local train.
Yeah.
Love the Enidin.
Right. You take it to High Station, and from there, it's just about a 7-minute walk to Kotoku Temple. Pretty easy scroll.
Nice. The Enidin ride itself is part of the fun. What's the other option?
You can also grab a local bus from Kamakura Station, look for ones going to the Daibutsumae stop
Which literally means.
in front of the Great Buddha. So yeah, very easy to find, gets you right near the entrance.
Excellent. Easy options then. And what about visiting hours? When can people go?
They vary slightly by season. April to September, it's 8:00 a.m. to 5:00 p.m.
Okay.
And then October to March, the cooler months, it's 8:00 a.m. to 5:00 p.m.
Good to know, especially if you're aiming for that peaceful early morning visit.
Exactly. Remember, the gates open at 8:00 a.m. all year round, so that early start is always possible.
Perfect. Well, this has been a fantastic exploration, hasn't it? We've covered the incredible history, the amazing scale, those artistic details like the Greek influences.
And Toshi's fun facts. Don't forget actually stepping inside, too. And, of course, how to get there to feel that peace for yourself.
It really is a place that just beautifully blends history, art, faith, and nature. Standing before it or even stepping inside, it offers this moment of connection to centuries of human effort and devotion.
What do you think?
We really hope this guide helps you unlock all the different layers of this incredible site and just appreciate the depth and richness it offers.
We hope the rest of your stay at Toshi's place will be filled with wonderful memories.